Up, up, up. 1 2 1 2. Bone, 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 bone.
God, I hate you.
What you gonna do?
That's okay. All right, cool. Everything's up and running, and let's go. I'll give us a countdown in five, four, three, two, one. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to yet another Showtime and Kev podcast. I'm Corey Showtime,
I'm Kevin Monroe.
and we can, we cannot properly start a show until Kevin scares off the FCC. So, if you would be so kind as to give your island intro, my good buddy.
Bone, 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 bone,
Oh
bone,
God, no.
bone, bone. In the name of the one called and Bras Lassie, I conquer tribe of Judah, King of Kings, and Santa Cruz, regular music festival with the Ross that are going up in this piece, Lord of mercy. Brak, 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 what you gonna do?
Okay, apparently Kevin fell asleep with his music on last night, so he's got rights a song that we do not have the rights to stuck in his head. And also we are going to start the show off with a video clip, and Kevin will give you the intro, and I'm going to get further inebriated because it involves someone I just don't like to see.
Look how happy he is. He sacrificed. Look how happy he is. Look at this dead nigga on his shirt. Look,
So
look,
you, so
look at
first of
this
all, that's
dead
little
nigga on
Vaughn
his shirt. Look,
who's dead,
yo, you
and
think King
he's
Von
talking.
thirsty? I
And
think King Von thirsty. Look, yo, drink that.
so here he is
I'm gonna
disrespecting
pee
a
on you,
dead
nigga.
man in front of his
Look, look.
friends,
These niggas
which
be
is very
sacrificing their
inadvisable.
mans. Look. If a
And
nigga killer ain't dead, we ain't wearing no RP shirts, nigga.
and
Yo, listen.
and I'd like to point
I'ma
out he's
keep it
not
a
black,
stack.
so
You know
saying
how
niggas, excuse me.
look.
And this
Look,
is Lil
stop
Von's
bringing
friends
it.
in
Yo, you
Chicago.
don't gotta
We're
bring
very
niggas. You
unhappy
tough by
about it.
yourself, right? You tough by yourself, right? Bro, put that
And
shit
so they're
away.
just looking at
Cause
him.
when you
Okay,
spit it
right
on
there. Stop right
yourself, you
there.
didn't pull
Stop
that
right
out.
there.
Man, I don't want
Stop right
Stop.
there.
He
shit.
said
Spit it on
stop. We can
yourself,
stop
you
this.
didn't
Oh,
pull
thank
that out.
God.
Yeah, stop. Yeah,
Okay,
stop.
one
Yeah.
second.
Internet, bro. Yo, listen.
Ah, thank God. Oh, the ignorance is killing me.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out that this dude pulled out like what looked like a I don't know like a Mac 11 or something like that with an extendo clip.
I believe that was the
Uh,
M19 pistol.
M19. You tell me. You see
Actually,
more
your
weapons
brother
than
can
me.
tell us better than we know.
Oh, yeah, hit me with that Facebook link, by the way.
I
Did you hit me
just
with that?
did. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I mean, what's hilarious about this is number one, you should never. Why are you arguing with Takashi 69, a dude who's a known snitch on Instagram?
Right?
Okay, number one, you should do that. And number two, why are you pulling out a weapon on Instagram talking to Takashi 69, a dude that has feds crawling out of his butthole? Are you crazy?
His
Like,
butthole.
why? Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with Negroes? Like, why would you do that?
Uh, emotion, uh, ego, bravado, whatever makes motherfuckers put a $24 million diamond in their fucking head. I don't know, Kevin. I don't know. I
Like
don't
that's
know.
a level of like look, man, I ain't no criminal genius or nothing, but I know for sure you don't number one, you don't talk about criminal activities on Instagram, right?
It's not a
Where
good
it's like a
place for
hundred
it. No.
thousand followers to the point where it's not even like people are watching. There's commentary. There's like four
Yeah,
hundred thousand people there. People are putting up likes and happy faces and shit.
yeah. There were
Everybody's
hearts the
listening
whole
to you.
time.
Everybody's listening to you talking about your criminal activities
You
on
had 3 million
Instagram.
witnesses. You had 3 million witnesses, and the FBI and the FBI doesn't need a warrant because it's being broadcast.
Right, with 3 million witnesses. Yeah, the order we like to call, I don't know, Juku 57111. Like you could call anybody that was on that video.
Yeah, I.
And on top of that, the part we didn't show because Corey would have lost his mind if we kept the video rolling because I could
Yep,
see his eyes. The whites of his eyes were just like turning black.
they were
Um,
glazing over.
yeah. Towards the end, Takashi's like, I ain't scared of y'all. I ain't scared of y'all. Tell me, who's the last nigga you dropped? Who's the last? Like, really? I'm going to tell you on Instagram the last
Hold on.
person I killed.
Say it into the microphone. Who's the last nigga you dropped? Come on, say it. Say it. Say his name. I want his social security number, his height, his weight, what color his eyes.
Fuck you, Takashi. His name was Robert Johnson. He's 5'7", size 11 shoe, left-handed. Why? What is going through motherfuckers' minds?
I just know we old because like I'm now questioning why we, you know, yeah, like this is the stuff that none of this was cool if you were a rapper back in the day. Like this is shit that other rappers would shoot you for. So
Yeah, you never heard Cool Mo D talking about who he killed. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Never. I mean, Cool Mo D probably got bodies. I'm just saying, allegedly.
Okay.
But
So do we was there a more of a point to this or can we get to the actual show? Because like I feel like we've given Takashi Teriyaki 6ix9ine too much airtime.
well, there was a slightly larger point, and this happened this week. Um, one of the one of the police officers from the 1960s who died a while back sent the New York Police Department and his son a confession letter where he said he was involved in the assassination of Malcolm X.
Wow.
And he gave like hella details. It's not just like he's like, I feel very sorry as a black man. I was involved in this. Here are the details of how it happened. And he sent the letter to his son. He sent the letter to the NYPD. His son just recently just did had a lecture and talked about it. And apparently the FBI, the NYPD, all uh, allegedly conspired to have that assassination happen. And the capper is the New York Police Department says they are going to investigate.
Hmm. From wait a minute, when like I zoned out for a sec. I'll be honest with you. I smoked some weed earlier. When was this murder?
60 years ago. Right?
Yeah, six. That's. I know there's no statute of limitations on murder, but my odds are that this guy got away with it.
Yeah. I mean the everybody involved is dead or in a rocking chair somewhere. But
Yeah,
but the whole idea that New York Police Department felt compelled to say that they are investigating, that's just it just makes me chuckle in a macabre kind of way. Like, really, y'all want to investigate some shit that happened last weekend? The fuck are you talking about?
so I guess crime does pay, ladies and gentlemen.
Especially when the FBI is involved. Yeah. But
True.
anyway, so let's get to it, man. So what's happening this week, man? What's happening this week? Uh, um, the biggest news that came out this week, of course, if you pay attention, is that Ted Cruz is a fucking moron.
I think the bigger news would be that Texas is now experiencing the movie The Day After Tomorrow in a full HD immersive experience.
Right. Yeah, it's a theme park now,
Yeah,
except you can't leave.
I got
So basically,
exactly. Go ahead.
like a huge ice storm came down, and because the vortexes are getting bigger because of the climate change, it covered places that never had snow before for a long period of time. Ice froze over the natural gas lines, the oil lines,
Yikes.
and basically shut the whole city down, the whole
That's
state
that
down. Sorry.
that is really scary because that is like the day after tomorrow where it gets to that deep freeze polar vortex, that the eye of the storm where everything's so cold that like planes freeze out of the sky. Like that's definitely not happening because Ted Cruz was ever to catch one, but we'll get to that. The fact that I've seen pictures from people in Texas where like their pipes burst and then the water froze before it finished hit the ground, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's that crazy. It got that cold for that long period of time. Um,
That is literally my nightmare. That's why we live in LA where I pay an extra $1,000 a month every month to make sure it's never not 70. It's never not
right,
70 here, Kevin. It's never
right.
not 70.
Exactly. You see this right here? It's a T-shirt. That's what I'm
Hmm.
wearing right now.
And I feel warm in this.
Right. So shout out to all the comedians that moved from LA to Austin to like weather the storm of no comedy in Los Angeles. Good luck. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, but the hilarious part about this is the reason. it's all fucked up in Texas is because Texas is the only state that's off the federal grid.
And
They
how does
fall,
that work? Is that because they got so much oil that they want to keep it to themselves?
well, they're big into deregulation, and they figure they could. Regulation costs money, right?
Of
So
course.
regulation is the thing that keeps you from eating fingers in your Wendy's dinner or whatever. Right? Regulation. The feds have to say you have to have no more than two fingers a year in your Wendy's chili, right? And they're like, fuck that. We're not paying to guarantee that shit. We're not winterizing our pipes. We're not guaranteeing this or that.
Real quick, I just heard a horrifying stat. You know that urban myth that like we eat so many spiders throughout our life in our sleep? It's
Mm-hmm.
not in your sleep. It's actually in your food. You just might not ever. Scariest thing might be in peanut butter. All right, continue.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, peanut butter still. I mean, if that's what makes
That's
it
the
crunchy, I don't
crunchy.
care. The spiders is what makes peanut butter crunchy. I'm cool with it because it still tastes good. I don't care.
That's terrifying. Continue your point, sir.
But yeah, so the whole point of deregulation is money. Okay, it
Hmm.
costs money to regulate, to winterize pipes, to go through these rigorous standards. Okay, like okay, so if you go to a farmer's market, you may pick up like a piece of chicken that is hella cheap. But you know
Yeah.
what? It's because it didn't go through certain standards. Nobody checked the chicken to see if there wasn't a rat
This is
spirit
not
inside of it.
top shelf chicken. This is
Yeah,
like
exactly. So
doesn't know if it's
so
coming or going chicken.
So, but what they lose from being off that grid, off the federal grid, is what the other states have, which is if your grid goes down in Oklahoma, then
Hmm.
Tennessee picks up the slack. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you're on a national grid, you have backup. But when you're by yourself, if your shit fucks up, it's all you. You're on your
Yeah.
own. Um, and on top of that, this is what is even more hilariously bad is the people who bought into this plan. It's called market rate. So what we have in California is fixed rate, right? So what you pay for your electricity, for your gas is pretty much the same thing every month, right?
Yeah.
It's like 30,
And
40
I
bucks or whatever.
and I complain about it because it'd be like 150 every time I gotta pay. Like, God damn.
Because what are you doing? Are you barbecuing camels over there? Like how much gas are you using, bro?
Nah, there's two of us here.
Tell- how many hot showers are you taking? Okay, you have a girlfriend. Okay, probably a lot.
Thank you. Twice as much as whatever you're complaining about. That's exactly what I'm using.
Hella hot showers. I get it. Hella hot
Yes.
showers.
Yes. And
Hella
I'm
hot
not
showers.
complaining. And neither one of us stink. That's important. We got our.
That's cool.
I will pay that much to not smell, sir.
Yeah, okay. Your money's worth. These guys, because they're market rate and not fixed rate, what
Uh-huh.
they were saying is if you kept your electricity on during that storm, guess what? You're paying premium. So
Oh.
people are getting hit with $7,000, $8,000, $16,000 electricity bills this month.
Okay, so let me get this straight. This is kind of like surge pricing, like on Uber.
Exactly, exactly. Period. You're
Oh,
paying
it's surge. Sorry, pardon the pun. I didn't mean surge like that, but yeah, that's what
Oh, I
they
didn't see
call
that.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, oh. Everyone. Ooh, that's you.
I swear, I wasn't even going for that joke. I was just, oh, that's there. Oh,
Ooh,
I'm
you.
angry for.
Yeah.
Well, I pointed it out anyway. But yeah, so like, it's how much would it be? Is it cheaper? What's the appeal of that? Would it cheap? Would it be cheaper normally?
Yeah. So it's maybe like 10 or 20% cheaper than having a fixed rate, right? Because they don't have to keep backup power. They don't have to. So instead of like paying like say like $30 a month, you're paying like 15.
Okay,
But in the case of a calamity like this, dude, for real, dudes are being hit with $16,000 electricity bills. 16 G's.
bruh.
G's.
And
I
that's just
mean,
for like that week, right? That's not even like the whole month. That's just
right,
like last week when it was -75 outside.
right. If your power came on, you're paying super premium. Your prices jump by 70 times, 80 times up. And they asked the dude that designed the market, and he said, and I quote, "That is how the market was designed."
Of course it was.
He hit him with the Matrix architect, Matrix 2, the architect. This
I
is
love it
this is
when a
how
plan comes together.
this is how this is how it was designed. I'm like,
Yeah.
so do you really think some 80-year-old grandmother should be paying $8,000 in a week for? Well, that is how the market was designed.
Yeah.
They
I
don't
mean,
give a
we not the slightest. Not even a hand job.
so I mean, it is. I mean, they're wilding right now because forget. I mean, forget all the people that would left in the cold. Forget all the people that died from hypothermia. There's a whole bunch of them. People died from carbon monoxide poisoning because they're just trying to like stay warm by burning shit inside their house, which you shouldn't have been doing, or keeping their car on. Forget those people. The remaining people, they're like, I'm wiped out. I'm gonna pay $18,000, in a month. Like, how's that gonna happen? So, and of course, the people in charge, they all try to like clean that up. Be like, oh, it's because of those windmills. Like, okay, number one, for real, grown sentient adults went on television and said the reason we ran out of power was because windmills froze during the storm. Okay,
Wait. Before you say another word, do you mean to tell me representatives from Texas went out and
yep.
complained that they didn't have enough wind energy?
Yes, they said the reason we depended on wind energy, there wasn't enough wind, and that's why everybody froze. And people believe this shit because they're stupid. Okay, look, here's the thing. First of all, only 7% of Texas's energy comes from winds.
Yeah.
Only seven. Seven.
You
The rest
know,
is oil. Texas
yeah,
is big on oil
93%
and
is oil. It's been oil from day one. It's been oil. That's why they kicked the Mexicans out. It's oil from day one. That's why it's been oil and cotton. That's why we've been there and they tried to kill the Mexicans away. That's what Texas is. Come on.
yeah, exactly. The team was called the Houston Oilers. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they had the whole was it the drama Dallas was about oil. It was the 80s. You were too young for that.
So
But
no, I feel you. How do you run out of power in Texas?
that's the thing. They didn't run out of power. What they didn't do was regulate the pipelines. If they winterized it the way regulation does, then they wouldn't have frozen over. The natural gas froze, the pipes froze, even the windmills froze. And people in Antarctica and Denmark are going, well, we don't have windmill. Sorry, no, not Antarctica. Denmark and Canada were saying
I was about
we
to
have
say, did
wind.
you say people in Antarctica?
No, no, sorry. Papers in Antarctica said no, no. So I was thinking definitely in Denmark and the northeastern Norways and so on, they're like,
It's
we have
cold as
snow all the fucking
fuck.
time, and our shit does not freeze. You know why? Because we regulate it and we make sure that it's properly insulated. But you guys didn't buy that because you cheap motherfuckers and you deregulated. You know, I mean, I feel like Nate Dogg needs to come in here. Recipe Nate Dogg, Warren G. Somebody has to regulate. It's all the AOC's fault. Thank you, Dai. Yes, it is the AOC's fault. Like, I mean, these people are shameless. They're absolutely shameless in their stupidity. And it's like, okay, here's what happens when you don't regulate. Okay, you freeze to death, and you get spider legs in your chili.
I was talking with a friend from Texas, and like, cause I posted something saying that Ted Cruz isn't the representative that Texas needs. He's the representative Texas deserves. And she was like, I don't deserve this. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You don't. A lot of people in Texas don't. Texas overall does. Like this,
Right?
the way this whole thing is set up, this is like, I'm sorry you guys have to go through this, but this should open your eyes to how screwy your setup is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people in Texas did not vote for Ted Cruz, did not vote for deregulation. But people forget that Republicans have run that, the state level, the senators, the governors since like the early 2000s. So there's nobody else to blame. I mean, um, and it's people don't deserve it because it's been gerrymandered to death. I mean, there's like regions in Texas that look like a kid scribbling on a chalkboard.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some of that. But at the same time, people need to like wake up and realize if they don't fight this shit, this is exactly what's gonna happen. You're gonna freeze to death. And then of
Mm-hmm.
course, dudes are coming out there like, well, we'd rather what the governor say? We'd rather stay a couple days cold and have government regulation. And I'm like, you know what you sound like? You sound like a crackhead. Okay, you know, because when motherfuckers are on crack, Like they could be outside cold, freezing, teeth falling out. Everybody's telling them, "Look, bro, this you need help." And nah, I'm good, man. Just give me one more of them. You sound
Damn.
like a crackhead. Like, man, like you smoking, bro. Like look around you. Your whole everything's falling apart right now, and you still there going, well, at least I don't have regulation. It's like saying, yeah, you live under a bridge smoking crack, but at least you're outdoors. Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, like it's interesting to say like you have all this freedom, but now it's like you'd really want some infrastructure about now, wouldn't you? Like I don't know what else to tell you. Like this is why like I got friends that are like they like every now and again they want to like jump leap like just get off the grid and like be totally self reliant, and I'm like okay, I'm gonna stay here where I could get food and clothing and everything I need, like either within walking distance or delivered to me. So you can go rough it.
Yeah, yeah, and good luck if you nick your leg and it starts getting infected. I mean, you might be in for a long ride. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't
Hey,
want to.
your brother switched to commenting on our YouTube because apparently my Facebook is acting up, and the police are listening to us.
Oh, oh, yeah. Damn. All right, get him then. See, this is what I miss from not having a studio. Like when we're in a studio, it's all
Yeah.
isolated. The walls are insulated. You can't hear anything.
Anyway,
You know.
your brother said people in Texas voting for deregulation are like trees voting for the axe.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying. Well, they're gonna learn.
Yeah.
I mean, but the responses I'm seeing on Twitter where people are saying, or even like the governor saying, like, I'd rather us, freeze than have government federal regulation. It shows me that some people they just don't get it.
Yeah,
You know.
like I don't have all the answers. I don't know what works. Civics is not my background at all. But I
Well,
never thought I'd see the day where I'm like, okay, cool, PG&E, yeah, this works.
right. BG&E has its own problems too, but
Oh, absolutely. Like we're gonna be there. There's gonna be rolling blackouts and like as much as Californians want to talk shit on Texans right now, in 4 months we'll be on fire.
yep, guaranteed. And if there's
Set your
ever
watch to it.
uh, I mean, the PG&E thing was one mishap where like one of the lines went down and set on fire. But I swear to God, if somebody has some dumbass gender reveal party that that shoots fireworks and sets
Yeah.
all Northern California on fire for 2 weeks, that baby better deport itself. Okay,
Yeah. I
he better move to a different country.
There's an unnecessary Mexican joke in there that I'll leave out in the ether. But like yeah, every year something starts a fire. Either it just being hot as balls in Death Valley or someone shooting fireworks off or a gender reveal party or some kid burning ants. Anything can set like California hasn't had rain. Like we got rain I think last year for like a week and it was wonderful. It was glorious. I reveled in it and it's still weird. Like, we had rain recently for like a week, and it's still weird because nobody knows how to drive in that shit. It's like they get terrified by it. Like Californians drive in the rain, like people in the Midwest drive in the snow. It's stupid, but
Yep.
like normally we go without rain for a literal decade. So we've been a giant tinderbox all of this like the 2010s, and we've been on fire every year all the 2010s. We'll be on fire again in all 2010s
Yeah,
in
yeah. I
2020.
mean, yeah, I mean, it was so bad last summer. Remember when it was so dark in the Bay Area, like during the day, that
Yeah.
this shit looked like Blade Runner. You know?
Yeah, that big, that was bright, like that was like I saw a tweet. It was that picture of the UPS truck where it's all red, and then there was that picture I was talking about of the water falling and freezing before it hits the ground in Texas, and like this was within 6 months of each other.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean we're pretty much hitting the strange days, man. I mean it's the apocalypse is here. It's coming on right now. And I was kind of joking about it earlier. I was saying I was expecting to be like Mad Max, but it's more like TJ Maxx. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're in it now, and and these dinosaurs, these old ass Republican idiots, they'll never change. They're like, well, if we just close our eyes, it'll be fine.
Mhm.
So that's where we're at right now.
I have
Hopefully, I
a.
mean,
Can I give
no,
you
go ahead.
a? I have an interesting nerd apocalypse theory. I think Waterworld, Mad Max, and Book of Eli kind of all take place in the same universe at the same time in different places.
Huh? Okay,
Like
all right.
I think Mad Max is like the nuclear apocalypse in Australia. I think Book of Eli is a nuclear apocalypse in the U.S. And I think Waterworld is like whatever country sinks.
Hmm, right. I'm really surprised you watched Waterworld.
That
No, nobody's watched that shit.
I had a lot of downtime in like the summer of what was that 1996.
Ain't nobody watched. Maybe Kevin Costner watched Waterworld. He's like,
It's
ah,
a terrible. First of all, if you've never seen that movie, don't. It's awful. It's worth. It's not. It's a waste of your time. But it's a fucking great end of the world concept. You feel me?
so humans grow gills, a thing that took like hundreds of millions of years to
No,
evolve.
not that. God damn it! Like the idea of like society having to exist on completely on the ocean because everything sank.
Eh,
Like that
uh,
is that not a possibility with like everything like I feel like before we're dead Antarctica is going to be half its size.
Possibly. There are definitely some countries that will disappear. There's a couple islands out there that by like 2050 will no longer be above the water. Um, a huge chunk of South Florida will be gone. Thank God.
Please save Miami. Please save Miami. I need to party at least once in my life.
I know, right? Like imagine like in your rocking chair, like telling your kids, "There's a place for the party where the heat is on and the party don't stop till the earth is on. Welcome to my what's Miami, Grandpa?"
Oh, gather around, kids. I'll tell you about this wonderful, wonderful place where the thongs were plenty and the drinks were cheap and the cocaine flowed like honey. It's underwater now. It's the lost city of Miami.
Will Smith is like, "I was there. It was a great
There's
time."
strip this stripper still like clutching the pole.
Like Frozen. She she was up she was upside down on the pole. She ready now.
The whole city got hit by a tidal wave and everything froze in place.
Okay, it's so bad. So the end of art, no one ever saw this movie, Artificial Intelligence AI with Steven Spielberg, but they found a city that was frozen like that. And
Mhm,
yeah, exactly.
mhm,
So yeah, I mean there will be a lot of places that will disappear. Some places just won't be able to exist anymore. Like a lot of Arizona
mhm.
will not be livable because the average temperature is going to pop over like 130. They won't have enough water. You know, I mean the whole idea that there's even like a fucking golf course in anywhere in Arizona is an absurdity.
I feel
That
like Phoenix is gonna just try and like. I feel like it's gonna go the opposite direction. Like people in Phoenix are gonna turn that place into like a ritzy ass area like Dubai.
mm, right. You have to have a lot of money to move there, but it's not enough. I feel like what they should do is to take the Phoenix Suns and move them back to Seattle. Yeah,
I'm not mad at that at all. Seattle would love that.
yeah. Although I mean, a team called the Seattle Suns would be hilarious because it's never sunny in Seattle.
Yeah. Well, they'd have to be the Sonics again. They changed everything back. Like you couldn't have a basketball team in Seattle not called the Sonics.
That's true. Supersonics. I still have that T-shirt by the way. I'll wear it next time. Um, as a side note, as a side note of basketball, I don't know if you heard what happened with Meek Mill this week.
Oh yeah. That was
um,
stupid. Like
this is
he's
this is
go
when
ahead.
rapping goes wrong.
Mhm.
Like this is one of the things where you just like this shit sounds so hot in the booth.
This is one of those rare occurrences where rappers talk shit about someone with more street cred than them. Because that's the thing. Kobe was a monster. You're Meek Mill. Now, I'm not saying anything against Meek Mill, but if you attack a dead legend, people are going to react some kind of way. So, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Right, yeah, they didn't because like, I mean, Snoop was on there giving the gas face. What's his name? Homeboy that does the daily sports show. Shannon Sharp.
Oh.
Shannon Sharp hit him.
Skip. He trying to murder about my man Kobe. He trying to go back on the Bible. Skip.
No,
If this man, Big Bill, after we accepted him back into our open arms, Skip, after this man that had to go get the president and Robert Kraft, the owner of the goddamn sorry, I just get lost in that voice sometimes.
I mean, what does Shannon Sharp look like? Like he's eating while he's talking all the time.
Because
I mean, what's he talking like? Okay, now listen here. I'm gonna open my whole mouth when I'm talking. My whole ass mouth got to be open.
But the funny thing, he's just Southern. He's not dumb. That's the thing. He's not dumb at all. He's just Southern as fuck.
That makes me laugh so much because he's obviously very intelligent.
He got a thick tongue. The Skip.
I didn't skip.
Dad is intelligent shit. He wouldn't be on the show if he wasn't, but he's fucking Southern as hell.
That shit just makes me laugh. But the line, I mean, but he wasn't dissing Kobe. The line, okay, in like an isolated universe, the line is he's like, you know, if I'm gonna have to go out, I'm gonna go out with my chopper like Kobe.
In an isolated,
in which you could kind of see how for like a hot second that was kind of.
I see the logic in it. Now let me explain to you why you're wrong. Like, it's anytime you have to say in a isolated universe, your answer is going to be like, but it just happened, motherfucker. Like, you and it's not so much what you said, it's who said it. Like, again, you're Meek Mill. Like, that's a Jay-Z line. Like, you are not anywhere in that realm of importance to try and utter that shit.
You're not authorized. Let's just say you are not authorized.
Exactly. That's why everybody coming after you.
You are not authorized to discuss these things. Yeah, you're not at that level.
Yeah, like you can go after like Malik Sealy or somebody else that's like the NBA player that's dead, that is like or Cliff Robinson or some shit. But like going after Kobe is like, come on, bro. Like that's you saw what happened to anybody that went after Kobe. Anybody that said anything bad about Kobe after he died, it's like going after a made guy. You know, you're gonna affect a lot of feelings. You're gonna get a lot of backlash.
Right. Yeah. He basically Meek Mill took it into that room. Like, oh, am I good? Huh? Where's everybody? Right. I mean, right now, like the internet is like put a bar of soap in a sock and it's just beating the shit out of him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, nah, man. But I mean, that happens though. People think like, oh man, it's the shit. I mean, it's a little edgy, but it's gonna be tight. You put it out there, and everybody's looking at him like,
yeah. And on top of that, it's a bad line. Like that's you got to do better than that. If you're gonna say chopper like Kobe, that shit needs to be way more impactful. Like you're gonna have to be like, if it was clever, everybody like, oh shit, that was man, he went there. But it's not. So here comes Snoop.
It's a throwaway, right? I mean, if you make it like a much bigger point. You know, as opposed to just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out with my chopper. All right, like come on, man. Yeah. Well,
where's that pic with the old white dude? They finna drag you.
Yeah. That's one of them. You should just lay low for a couple weeks. Hopefully, pull it from the shelves or whatever. Just let it, smooth out. And then, I don't know, maybe come out with some spoken word poetry or something for a minute, bro. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, that was when I saw Shannon show the gas face. I'm like, what's this about? Then I listened to the line. I was like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah.
This ain't right, bro. Good luck with that shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
That's all I
man.
got to say. And that's all I have to say about that.
Right. Oh, sorry, we got a little sidetracked because I was gonna dovetail the whole thing about Texas into Ted Cruz. But I mean, a lot's already been said about Ted Cruz, so we don't really have to cover too much of that.
Oh,
You know.
yes, we do. Um, like, if in case you haven't heard, Ted Cruz, while Texas is uh, Antarctica, the sequel, right now,
Mm-hmm.
decided this was the perfect time to take his family on a nice vacation to Cancun.
That's
You
sunny
know?
tropical vacation in
Yeah,
Mexico.
exactly. Like a team, like like most teams in Texas, usually 2 or 3 months from now, they're like 1, 2, 3 Cancun. But
Right. He basically decided to end the NBA season early.
yeah, and that's a bad look when you're the governor of a place that's
He's a
currently
senator.
freezing.
He's senator.
Excuse me. Yeah, you're right. Senator of a place that's currently freezing. Rick Perry's the governor, right?
No, he's George Abbott is the governor.
Ah, then I am not up on my Texas leadership at all. He was governor, right?
Uh, that is true.
Okay.
Rick Perry was governor, and then they brought him in.
Then he did something. Then he ran for president, and then he's doing some other shit. Gotcha.
So Greg Abbott's the governor now, and he's the guy I was criticizing earlier, talking about we'd rather freeze than have government regulations.
Your brother said Rick Perry is thankfully unemployed.
But go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Sorry, what was I saying? Oh, yes, Ted Cruz took his. No, I covered my thought. I said Ted Cruz took his 1, 2, 3 Cancun. It's
Right.
bad look. Being the senator of a state that is currently freezing to all shit, and then deciding, yeah, that doesn't really apply to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the worst part is he got dimed out on so many levels, dog. He got dimed out so
They
bad.
found him at the airport.
Yeah, somebody took pictures on the plane. Like, is that nigga Ted Cruz over there? Look, they put that shit on Twitter. Like, straight up, like, excuse me, is that
They damn near had everything but his fucking boarding pass. Like they had Ted Cruz. They made sure they pan over, saw the line that said Cancun. It was like, look at they zoomed into the bag, and it's like, come on, bro.
Yeah, they dimed him out. And worse than that, even worse than that, his wife's group chat with her friends. They're like, girl, we going to Cancun. Y'all want to come? We staying at the Ritz Carlton. It's $300 a night. I'm dimed out. Dimed out, dog. They sold that brother out.
But you know what's really sad, Kevin? It doesn't matter. Like so much of like politics and gerrymandering and all the things that Texas does to keep people from voting. Like he'll be back. Like he's still he's already been voted in. Like so they're still stuck with him for 2 years.
Yeah. He's just chilling. I mean, there's nothing he can do about it. So he changed his story a bunch of times. He came back. So he came back the next day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I was just gonna chaperone my daughters, and I was gonna come back the next day." And they're like, "Okay, first of all, why do you got a big ass bag like that if you just staying overnight?" Because he had that big ass roller bag. Like how much clothes you need for one night? But how big are your pajamas, motherfucker? Like what's that?
Man, I'm a senator. I got like 17 suits in here.
for overnight stay. Okay. And number two, we found the booking of you buying this ticket back 6 a.m. on Thursday. You flew out on Wednesday, 6 a.m. Thursday flight back. How come? Oh, because Wednesday night that shit hit all over the internet, and somebody probably called you like, "Yo, man, this shit looking bad as
Bring your ass back here.
this shit looking hella bad, bro."
Leave your bags. You're not gonna need them.
So and then
Take a red eye so nobody sees you.
They caught him on the red eye too, to the point that when he got back to Texas, he called the police. He called the police to have them escort him from the airport to his house because he didn't want to go through the regular way with all the press and media and everybody there going like, yo, man, Like, yo, man, how's Cancun, bro? You got some margaritas? What's up? You
Well,
got any
that's
tattoos?
politics
Like,
as usual, baby.
and then on top of that, he goes on the news and says, "Oh yeah, okay, you got me. I was planning to come back on Saturday, but I decided it was, that was a mistake. I decided to come back." And they're like, "Oh, so that shit you were talking about, you were just staying overnight, was bullshit." He's like, "Let's just move on." And then today, he has pictures of him like out of Texas, like handing out bottled water and all this. And I'm like, "Yo, you just traveled from a foreign country.
Hmm.
Shouldn't you be in quarantine?"
Yeah, you just
Like,
expose yourself to a lot of unnecessary people. I mean, not that people are unnecessary, but you unnecessarily expose yourself to a lot of people.
right, exactly. You unnecessarily expose yourself to all these people after coming from another country, not going through quarantine. Like if I go back to Trinidad and I come back to America now, they'll make me sit for at least a week. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so I'm
he
like,
can. He's a
who
senator.
is
He's important.
who is running his PR, man? Who's running? I mean, who's advising this cat, bro? I mean, he just, what I'm saying? Like, like this is unforced error after unforced error after just.
I mean, well, what do you expect? The Republicans never really took this shit seriously in the first place. Like the president got COVID,
Mm,
and they didn't care.
that's true, right? They didn't care about the line of command, the chain of command, or any of that stuff. They're like, ah, whatever, do whatever you want. Um, yeah, I mean, they don't take it seriously, and I think Chris Hayes. I rarely follow MSNBC and those things, but Chris Hayes had a really important point, and he said that the problem is that we don't take, like, the Republicans don't take governing seriously. Like
Hmm.
all the people that they hire now are trolls and media figures. Like none of
Hmm.
them know how to run a government. They don't care about running government. So like when an actual government problem happens, like I don't know, your entire state freezing over, dude was like, ah, you know what, fuck it, I'll be out, man. I'll be back on Sunday. Hopefully it'll be warm by Monday. You know what I'm saying? He's like, nah, let's go on vacation. Who cares?
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
got nothing.
I mean, that's really the essence of the problem here is that we have people that don't realize that governing is a job.
Hmm.
It's a job. Like, okay, if something goes wrong, you have to go fix it. Like that's your job. They're like, no, my
Yeah,
job is to go on Twitter and call AOC a communist, and and go and send out nasty tweets. Like that's it. So that's where we're at right now.
yeah. I got nothing, man. You're speaking the truth, bro.
They really need to get rid of these people, man. And running back into what you said at the beginning, at the top of this, he probably will keep his job. He has 2 more years, and the same people who voted for him before, they'll say the same thing. Well, at least we don't have no government regulations.
You also don't have any power or any money left.
Yes, and 2 of your kids died of hypothermia, but but go off, King.
You're killing it in the Oregon Trail. All right, what's next, Kevin?
I love how you just like lost energy for that. You're like, I can't. This is just.
Yeah, I'm already. The more we talk about it, the sadder it gets. I'm getting much like everything in Texas. I find myself growing colder to this situation.
Good luck with you guys in Texas. So one of the things I want to bring up, I ended up watching. We talked about this offline. This new movie that just came out on HBO Max. I thought it was a great movie, and it's getting really good reviews. It's called Judas and the Black Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people have seen it yet. It's a story of Black Panther leader Fred Hampton, who was assassinated by the FBI with the help of some rat-a-tat-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat,
Teriyaki
Ratatouille,
6 9s. Teriyaki
rat-a-tat,
O'Neills.
tat-a-tat-a-titty-tat-a-tat-tat-tat, Ratatouille ate rats. The guy's name was Bill O'Neill,
Mm-hmm.
and he did an interview with PBS in the 1980s where he talked about his involvement, and he was one of the people that the FBI uh, hired to go and infiltrate the Black Panthers and to give him notes of their movements and so on. Um, and the the dude, like, even to the end, he was still you could see he was trying to justify like what he did. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I believe in history will have to judge me, and I can't really. And the last statements he was saying was like, well, so people asked me like, so the interview was like, hey, so you basically snitch on Fred Hampton, they killed the guy. Do you feel
Mm-hmm.
responsible for that? And he's like, oh, well, history will judge me, and I went out in the field and I did things. And a lot of people want to sit in their armchairs now and judge, but I was out there and I did things. You didn't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
which is like,
And the
okay,
very
bro.
next day, he shot himself.
Yes.
That's one thing. Like that's the most powerful thing he did for the movie. I do have to give William O'Neill great credit for being the murderer of William O'Neill. That is one thing he did for black people.
Yeah, yeah. Give him some credit for that.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing about that movie, if there's anything to be funny about it, is in the opening sequence. I don't know if you've seen Get Out. It's the same two actors, Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. And Lakeith in Get Out was the guy who was like bamboozled, like he
Mm-hmm.
was like on the white plantation, like plantation. In
I
Get
mean,
Out,
it was a plantation though.
yeah,
Like they went
yeah,
all the way out to a farmhouse in the south somewhere. What is that called?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the premise of Get Out is that these older uh, white women or white men would kidnap black people and brainwash them so they could have young companions. And so when Daniel Kaluuya rolls up, he's like, "What is this like young black dude doing with this like milfy middle aged white lady?" And it's because his brain was jacked. But for a brief second, like his eyes open, he's like, and then they had to shock him and put him back into the spell.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just trying to watch Judas and the Black Messiah, and that first scene where it's like uh Daniel Kaluuya meets Fred Hampton, and I was just like, "Oh shit, no! It's that nigga from Get Out! Run, nigga, run!"
Just trying to cross movie universes.
It just like my immediate reaction was like, "Dog, you in the movie with him? You know what he's about. Don't trust him."
Yeah, I gotta give props to Lakeith Stanfield though because like you you and I both dabbled in acting, and we know just how difficult it can be to like pull out emotions like on a fly, and like you can see the whole movie in his face. You can see everything that's going on. Just like that, most of his most powerful scenes are just ones where he's not saying anything. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Where he's like trapped in this space where he's trapped because the FBI has him. He has to do this, otherwise they'll put him in jail. He has to
Mm-hmm.
pretend he's this kind of character, and there's like scenes where you just see him like make shit up on the fly, and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, man. Fuck the man. Yeah, I'd kill a pig too. If there's any
Mm-hmm.
snitches in this organization, I'll kill a snitch. I'll find a snitch." And his eyes are kind of like, you can see he's like,
Yeah, you can tell he's overcompensating just to be like whoever smelt it dealt it type deal. You know?
right, right, right. So I wonder now, because and the irony of this is that they're using the same tactics that they use with the Black Panthers that they're using with Black Lives Matter. So
Yeah.
some of the newspaper clippings that they showed, which were actual paper clippings of the time, they said, the police firebomb Black terrorist organization. And during the Trump administration, they were trying to designate Black Lives Matter as an official terrorist organization,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is the tactic they use because once you're labeled a terrorist, they can do anything they want with you. They can firebomb your house. They could arrest you without and detain you without any charges being held indefinitely, Guantanamo Bay, that kind of thing. So it's the same tactics,
Yeah.
So I found that really fascinating.
I just I even though I knew what was happening, like it felt kind of like watching Titanic. Like it was all in the suspense leading up to it. Like I knew this was I like if you know your history, Fred Hampton was murdered by the police. They went in, shot like over 100 rounds. There was only one round going out of the house, and he got like out of everything that happened, he has two shots in the head. And but they want to make it seem like he died fighting the police when really he was uh, unconscious and murdered. But so you know all that. That's not a spoiler. That's in the news. Like that's Black history. You know this is going to happen. You know this is going to be in this film. It's just everything leading up to it and then seeing it happen. It's just it's kind of like the same visceral effect that I've had watch like that's happened to me watching slave movies. Like I'm kind of tired of seeing this shit over and over again. But it was good to see it in the context that it was cuz like, the whole thing was just trying to tell you it's always your own people.
Be your own people, man.
Yeah, it's always your own people.
Ah, the rat a tat 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 tatatoolie. Look, I mean, it's the ugliness of all this. I mean, just stems from people being jammed up and not understanding like the bigger picture. Bill O'Neill has a son. Like he has a kid, and I'm sure that kid's changed his name and moved to a different country.
Yeah. Because if he's anywhere in Oakland, he's getting the shit kicked out of him right now. And it's not even his fault. He did nothing wrong or she did nothing wrong. She shouldn't be like they shouldn't be having their ass kicked because their dad's a snitch. But
Yeah,
that's probably what happened.
yeah, the sins of the father shouldn't be brought upon the son in theory. However,
Hmm. Yeah.
in practice, that's how it goes down, man.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I just feel like so much of Black history is kind of wrapped up in these kind of characters. And what I liked about the movie is that they showed it um, from the Black perspective. And the last movie that dealt with the Panthers or any Black radicals in a reasonable way was Malcolm X, and I remember
Hmm.
seeing that like when I was in college, right? And beyond that, like what was it, 1992? It's been like 30
Hmm.
years since anyone's ever done like a major motion picture about any Black radicals.
Yeah.
Even movies about like slave stuff, like Harriet and things like that, are still done from the white perspective, or like The Help, or any of those things. There's always like a central white character that is kind of the way
Hmm.
things run. But I think there's room now to start telling the truth, where the Black characters get to tell it the way it actually happened. The police are literally the enemy because that is what happened, and there's no. Okay, if Hollywood had done this 10 years ago, there would have been some nice white cop that was like trying to like prevent the murder from happening. You
Hmm.
can't kill those Black people. They're good people. Get off of
Matt
me, John.
Matthew McConaughey.
Right, right, right. I did all I could, man. I tried. I told him not to kill him. Yeah,
Listen, man, these are good people here, man. You gotta leave them alone. We should all just get together.
right, right.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah, the end scene is like a white guy crying because he's like, I tried to save him. Like, no, you didn't. None of you did. Get out of here with that. So it's great that they did it that way. So it's
Yeah, it's very like that's very true. It's very unapologetic. It just says exactly what happened, and you get it from like it's kind of a horror movie because if you're an empathetic person because you're seeing it through like the whole thing's through his eyes. So
Mhm.
like you even see like him trying to deal with like knowing what's coming.
Did you? I mean, do you feel any empathy for Bill in this? Because in a way, you can feel it's a little complicated because he like the snitch is kind of trapped in the
Yeah,
game too.
empathy yes, sympathy no. Like
Okay.
Like I can definitely feel like the movie makes you feel what he feels a little bit. You get a little bit of that tension in your heart in some of those scenes. Like that suspense gets to you. That's what a good movie is when you're literally on the edge of your seat. But like I still can't see myself doing that. Like I would like I would take that even if I got caught in that situation, I'd take that as a point to like be a double agent.
Right. Yeah, and just drop down on the police. It's like, hey man, this is what they're trying to do to you. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those scenes where he's with the FBI agent at the nice restaurants eating steak and shit, I was like, all right, fuck this nigga, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
he enjoyed himself though. He there with the steak, like, mm, let me get some more scotch, please. Like
Yeah.
he was
Exactly.
he was loving the meals though. But at the end though, the end when he's like, look, man, just give me my money and I'll be out. And they give him this like little funky $300, and it wasn't even like pressed clean money. This shit looked like somebody got it out of like a stripper's boot. You know, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you
It's
just
like
turned
a
up your,
it's
you know
like
what I
how
mean?
your uncle pays you back. You know, like when you like let you buy when you let like a shitty family member borrow $50 and then like 7 months later you track them down. It's like, "Hey, I got you that fucking
Yeah, exactly,
$50."
exactly. Like you gotta like unwrap it to see what the number is on the money. Like man, you turned over your own people and destroyed a movement in Chicago for that.
Yeah.
I mean, bruh, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know how you get to that point where you just were like, hey, you know what,
Well,
do it.
I think what the movie was showing you is you got to lie to yourself because like by the end of the movie, like throughout the movie, they're doing little things with from the interview where he's giving his answers, but like he had to lie to himself. Like if you look at his face, like he's the same way, the same. The same skill that he used to infiltrate is the same one he used to carry on with that, to live with himself, and then finally he couldn't.
Right. I think so, there's something about the interview when it came out that just cracked him, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that scene where there's like a shootout. He's like, I got you," and he just like drops his gun and runs off. Like,
We're probably just spoiling the hell out of this movie for people that
I,
haven't seen it.
sorry, okay, go watch it. But it's. I mean, there's just scenes there where like I wish I was in a theater watching this with other people because I mean we'd be having like this motherfucker. Can you believe this shit?
This is a movie I wouldn't want to watch in Oakland just for the fact it'd be way too emotional. Like, cause
I would.
like
I would.
even though it's set in Chicago, Oakland is the Black Panther foundation. That's where it started. So like, there's a Huey and Bobby Seale. Like, yeah, it's a bitch. It just really sucks that like we had something for ourselves that was about black empowerment and self reliance, and we had our own security, we had our own civil services, we had our own daycare, we had our own self defense classes, we had our own legal services, and they killed the fuck out of us for it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's one of the side notes that in reading about the background of this story, people don't really know so much of, which is that unlike the civil rights movement, where there were a couple of people that were killed in the Black Panther Party, like almost everyone that was involved in any major way is either jailed for life or murdered. Like there
Yep.
was, I mean, there was the death the death toll of being a Black Panther was way higher than the civil rights movement, like per person, put it that way.
And the
Um,
cold thing was like they weren't even like subtle about it. Like they treated them like terrorists. So like if the police knew where you were, they barely even had a warrant. They just shot you to death, and it was like, hey, this Black Panther was killed, and now on to sports with Dave.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I hope more Black Panther movies come out. Like not the Marvel Black Panther, but actual the.
Well, both actually.
Yeah, you're right. Do another Black Marvel. Do another Black Panther movie. Ryan Coogler do another Black
Kids
Panther.
need
But
positive black superhero role models too.
you know what? And you know what? Ryan Coogler was the not the director, but executive producer, I think, of
Hmm.
Judas and the Black Messiah. I'm wondering, is he just trying to make the Black Panther movies so he could have enough clout to make the Black Panther movies? You know what I'm saying?
I'd hire him for either one. Like, and Fruitvale Station was plenty for both. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think maybe that's how he has to do. It's like, look, I made $1 billion doing this cartoon movie, so back the fuck away while I
This
make a real movie.
cartoon.
For real. Okay, so now I made $1 billion talking about Wakanda. Let me make a movie about Oakland. How about that?
True.
So,
Well, he already did that. Like he made the movie about Oakland, and that's why they gave him Wakanda.
oh, that's right. He did Fruitvale Station first.
And
Yeah.
that's why Mike and he uses the same actors for everything. It's just good and bad, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's a Spike Lee kind of thing, right? Like Bill Nunn
Yeah.
was in all Spike Lee's movies.
Hmm.
So I mean, from New Jack City to Mo Better Blues to whatever.
Yep.
Uh, well, well, I mean, okay. I think we're kind of hitting up the hour now. Everybody should go watch Judas and the Black Messiah if you have HBO Max. If not, steal it from your ex girlfriend. Look, everybody's stealing everybody's passwords. Just
Netflix is getting more expensive, man. They got the nerve to be charging $19.99 because they know we ain't going anywhere. I will pay it. Like one of us, whoever in my circle is paying for the Netflix password is going to pay the increase because we all fucking need it.
right, right. I mean, there should be some African proverb about sharing passwords.
I thought everybody was doing that. Like I'm really surprised when I tell people about the content potluck. It's like I pay for Hulu and Milan pays for Netflix and my mom has cable and then like her mom has like whichever like HBO Max or some shit like that. So we all come together like Voltron and we have like all of that shit together.
Umoja, umoja. Unity, unity.
No, I pay for
Although
I pay for ESPN and Disney Plus and she pays for Netflix.
you know how much you guys are fucking up the algorithms right now.
I don't even know what you mean by saying these different products or whatever. You
No,
understand computers. I don't care.
okay. The problem is they track what individuals watch and try to
Uh,
predict what's going to be useful. Basically, there's five people pretending to be one person. So
oh
the
yeah, and we all have
algorithm,
different profiles. Yeah, that
yeah,
was fucking it up. That was really weird. You get like a kids movie and then like the platform.
right. Exactly. I swear to God, if it was a data scientist at Netflix, I'd be tearing my hair out. Like, what the fuck? Why is he watching Peppa Pig and and Westworld? Like, how?
Yeah, there was a point where my Netflix was like Duck Dynasty and Snow on the Bluff.
You're muddying the data so bad right now. It's hilarious. I mean, it's not my problem, but I think it's hilarious. As a data, someone's
But
dabbling in data science.
Netflix knows exactly what's happening. That's why you get to put like five fucking profiles on your thing.
Right, right.
They
They're
know
trying. They're
exactly what
trying.
you're doing. They're like,
But one
look, and
thing,
they didn't. Yeah, they weren't doing that for my benefit. They're doing that for exactly why you said. I didn't think about it until just now. They're like, look, we cannot track you guys' preferences, so we're gonna need you all to section yourselves out on this shit. We know you're cheating. We know you're cheating. We don't care. We don't care. Just fucking.
just separate yourselves out, you cheating motherfuckers. So at least we can
Yeah.
keep our data clean. Oh man. So what you got popping, man? I knew Corey Robinson Comedy Services had a Valentine's Day around that show. How'd that go for you?
It went great. It was a lot of fun. The DJ was a lot of fun. We had some technical difficulties up front. We're still working all those out, but the show part is moving like clockwork, baby. Everybody had a blast. People. You can see on their screens. People were dancing. Everybody's alcohol was hitting at the right times. We all had a good time. We were playing drinking games throughout the night. Anytime you said like love or hate or shit, like those three words were like everybody had to drink, so it got interesting. We're gonna be doing something like that again. Tentative date is March 20th. I'm also going to be performing in person in front of live human beings in Inglewood next week. Next Saturday,
Englewood.
COVID permitting, so we'll see. And
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and so you can hit your Facebook page or your web page and see where that's at.
Mhm.
We always try to like promote on our Facebook page or Instagram everywhere you can find us. Um, I hosted the show last Thursday in VR, All Space VR. Doing that for a minute. We're trying to like ramp that up. I think next week we may do a show and then do our Showtime and Cab thing in the virtual podcast world in All Space VR. So if you have an Oculus headset or any of those things, jump in and you can see us. It's great in VR, man. In VR space, it's crazy. It's fun. A lot of people from around the world are there. So the room's full of people. It's a lot of fun. So definitely, it's $2.99. Just get the headset, man. Come on.
That's $299, not $2.99. But yeah, honestly, if I could take a quick moment to give them some free publicity, like even though this is on Facebook and they're the devil, Oculus is the shit. Like whether or not it's even going to be like a video game system, like that is the cleanest and most user friendly VR I've used in a long time. And I'm a gamer. Like I'm one of those people that like when I was a kid, I would like beg my mom whatever amusement park we was at to go to that little kiosk where they had the VR thing where they had the little circle, you know, like and go do the VR thing
Right.
or take the VR roller coaster. And so I like VR, and this thing is the like better than I could have imagined, and it's already in house. Get yourself an Oculus, seriously. It's
Yeah.
cheaper than a PlayStation 5. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really good and it's really clean. You wouldn't believe it. Like in a room with like 15, like 35, 40 people, you could hear all their voices. You're moving around, and it's just and on stage, it feels real because
Yeah.
it's you can hear laughs from here, from there. The only thing is you can't really heckle people because of what they look like because everybody's kind of an avatar,
You gotta
So
heckle
I mean,
people on their choice of design.
yeah, yeah. It's like, look at this purple motherfucker. Like you can do that, but it's not as much fun as like a real
Is
comedy
that
club.
racist?
I don't know. Is calling somebody a purple motherfucker racist? I don't know.
I
Maybe
mean, like if a
he is
white dude
purple.
if a white dude walked up to you and called you like to your face a purple motherfucker, that's technically racist. But if you did it in VR, it's like, well, you are purple, so
Yeah, and it's not how you were born. You made that choice of an avatar. That's a choice.
yeah.
so so anyway, man. So yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date if we're gonna do the show next maybe Thursday or Friday. There's if you don't have the Oculus headset, there is an app you can download for your laptop, for your desktop, that will let you join in. You'll be just kind of like a 2D kind of like toy, so it won't track your eye movement or your hands, but you can still join in and talk and all those things. I'll
Yeah.
make sure to post that on my Facebook page. So you can see it. So yeah, man, that's the future. I mean, this is not going back. I mean, we're gonna have live shows, but we're also gonna have these shows because I promise you, if I can do a show in front of 5,000 people, half of which are in Europe, sitting in my living room and get that money, I'm doing it.
And
So
I'm doing it with him because I'm not letting him get booked for $5,000 gigs out there or 5,000 people gigs without me.
yeah, it's the Showtime couldn't make it today because I
You
didn't tell them.
bastard! I
All
knew
right,
it.
guys, we gotta get out of here,
All right, man. All right, thank you all for tuning in. This has been another Showtime and Kev podcast. I'm Corey Showtime.
I'm Kevin Monroe.
And we will be back next week, same black time, same black station, if not in VR. But either way, thank you all for joining in. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get off Al Gore's internet and bothering me. Peace out. One love. Adios.
Nope. Good times.
As always.
Mm. So yeah, the